dad passed away when I was 31. He gave me this gift of carving totem poles, carving masks. And I always wanted to carve, but I always thought that you had to be asked to carve. I was watching Dad carve, and I just thought, I'd like to learn how to carve. And he just kind of glanced up at me and he just said, well, you need your own tools. But it took 3 weeks to make 4 knives. And then I've never done anything except that since then. The news of Kamloops started coming out with all, 215 children. There was a lot of people that were just like in disbelief. Our mom and dad went to St. Mike's. Dorothy and I were 60s Scoop. I went for 3 years. Dorothy went for 7. People don't understand how devastating that was for the natives in Canada, and not only in Canada, all around the world. We're still seeing the after effects of that, and maybe it'll be another 100 years before it goes away. I think that something like this monument that gives people the chance to focus on it and see that it's a true story. When I was doing the concept drawings, I did have it drawn with the cross right side up. And then I was thinking about that doesn't tell the truth story. So I put the cross in the next drawing upside down with the Canadian maple leaf upside down, RCMP upside down, Northwest Mounted Police upside down. And that's not to insult, that's just to say that it's very, very bad decisions were made at that time. I wanted it to tell the truth. And that was the only way I could figure out how to tell the truth, was to just start carving. And it came to me that I wanted to do our raven, because he's the creator and he's the trickster. And you look closely at the raven on the monument, in his beak, he's holding the seed of life. I wanted our raven to be a big part of that. And then, obviously, I wanted to focus on the children. I was thinking about how to divide that into 1 foot, very regimented, clean squares, and how to make that come across as children. So if you look at all those children and all those squares, they're all at different degrees of grief. There was no children that volunteered to go to residential school, none of them. They were brought out of a system that worked for thousands and thousands and thousands of years. Loving families, everybody had a duty, everybody had a responsibility, everybody made the family. So it was deliberately made to be a monument, not a totem pole. In fact, that breaks all the rules of a totem pole, to tell you the truth. Nobody's ever really blackwashed a totem pole before. That was a statement I wanted to do, just to say how dark that part of our history is. And the orange was obviously for the children's. I started thinking about our school, that we should ask them if they want to come down and bring the kids down 1 class at a time. And, we're just blackwashing. You can't go offline or anything. You just got to spread the paint out. So we had little tiny 3- and 4-year-olds, 5-year-olds, 6-year-olds, and, then I asked the Coast Guard if they'd like to come out and participate. Probably at least maybe 14 or 18 guys, all in their work uniforms, spent the entire day. We had a full RCMP escort. We did 12 ceremonies on Vancouver Island in 5 days. Then we brought it to the Coast Guard base downtown Victoria and loaded it on a hovercraft. They wanted to recognize their role, take responsibility for what they did, teach all the RCMP that are coming from out of Regina now, so they understand why natives have such a big problem, that it's still kind of a rolling on a part of history. The Army supported. They were the ones that brought it from Vancouver to Regina. Kamloops, it's really hard to talk about that still. And then to see all these reactions that we had across the country here, that will last in my heart forever. This is a huge part of Canadian history. It was kind of slid under the carpet and hidden for all these years. The monument had to be in some place of great significance. The way I saw it was to think, oh, the Canadian Museum of History. That should be where it stands because it's such a huge part of history. A monument like this should never have had to have been made, but because of the history, it did have to be made. My part of this part of our history is coming to an end for me. But when I leave here, we leave the monument here behind us. Once the curtains come down, then the monument can start its work.